You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Your host is me, Wole, Glenn, Mo, and Ray are out. But I ain't alone though. I'm with the homie, Fox Sports Radio Commanders reporter, Felix Trammell. What's going on, Felix?
Man, what's going on? Happy New Year. Glad to be here, man.
Happy New Year, man. It's good to see you again, bro. How's everything going? Fam good?
Everybody's good, man. I can't complain. Man. Life is doing good, man.
I know right now unfortunately for this football team, we'll get into that. Let's get into the particulars real quick. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything. And like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel. Just hit that red subscribe button. Hit a couple of likes on some videos. It's all good for the algorithm. So believe me, do it. It works for us. And I know you want to help me out, so just do it for us. And anyway, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Like I mentioned to Felix about this Commander squad. You know, it's the Commanders podcast. The Commanders got the Dallas Cowboys this week. I don't want to talk about last week. We did last week already. So I want to talk about the Cowboys. They're coming up. So Felix, let's get right into it. No, the Commanders fell to the Browns. The Cleveland Browns 24-10 at home. They lost that loss. And the Packers beating the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings eliminated the team from playoff contention. They have like I mentioned, they got the Cowboys next. It is Dallas week. I don't know what that means, but it is Dallas week. Who are playing for a division championship? Who is playing for it? If the Eagles lose, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Commanders. The Cowboys they'll have a bye and they'll win the NFC East and have a bye for the first round of the playoffs. Do you expect the Commanders to play inspiring football on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
I do expect them to be competitive. I do not expect them to win the game, but I expect them to be more competitive given all that's transpired. I think players just want to leave it all out on the field. So I feel confident that they're going to be competitive. I just don't think they have the talent right now to match up with that Cowboy squad.
We say talent or coaches?
See, all of the above.
Okay.
That was my favorite answer in school, so they messed me up with the none of the above. But there's comparable talent in a lot of positions.
That's what I'm saying. Like it is.
I think the deficiency at offensive line is what's glaring. And the difference is the Cowboys have schemed around their deficiencies. Their offensive line is weaker than it's been, especially the middle of their offensive line. But you wouldn't know it because they scheme around it. And that's something that the Commanders just haven't done. We know our glaring weaknesses. There's 2 glaring weaknesses on this team. There's 3 now because of injury. But offensive line, quarterback were our deficiencies. And we didn't scheme around our deficiencies to cover up that deficiency. So if you want to look at it conversely, our defense covered up our deficiency well, which was linebacker. Jamin Davis stepped up. Holton was so-so. John Bostic didn't play that. John Bostic was not the John Bostic from 2 years ago. This John Bostic played well. And even David Mayo was in the proper spot. But now it's the talent deficiency gets you.
Yes.
That didn't happen on the offensive end of the ball. And I mean, the difference, and McCarthy's not a great coach. Don't get me wrong. McCarthy's not a great coach. But he's put the right people in place to help his team, and that's the right offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
I know McCarthy's not the greatest. We can make the argument that he could be better than the coach they have here. You could make the argument, and look, I think Ron's a nice guy. I like Coach Rivera, but you can make that argument. It's wild you say that because I agree with it. When you say coach around like a bad offensive line, because it takes me back to 2012. The offensive line wasn't the best offensive line in 2012. But Kyle Shanahan, I'm mentioning another old Commanders, Redskin, whatever you want to call it, coach. Kyle Shanahan, he schemed around that. Him and Mike Shanahan, they schemed around that. The best was obviously Trent Williams, who's all-world, another guy who used to play with his team, who's all-world. But still, everybody else was pretty weak. They were light, you know what I mean? Like you had Corey Littensteiger, who was a light guard. But they schemed around it, to your point. So to your point, there are things you can do to scheme around a weak offensive line, and like you said, this team doesn't scheme around that properly.
at all. And I think it's just glaring sometimes because if I know what the Commanders are going to do, I know the people who get paid money who watch it knows what's coming. And you put a coach's main job, and you've coached sports for a long time. I've been a coach for a long time, is to put whatever you have, whatever it is, in the best chance for them to succeed. And if you can't do that as a coach, then you're not a good coach.
Yep.
I mean, if you walk in and you have all pros, or you come in with an all-star team, it's not that hard. You just make sure it doesn't fall off the rails. But a good coach is going to say, okay, I'm deficient in this area. How can I overcome that so the team can succeed? So it all comes down to coaching. And that 2012 team was probably the last truly aggressive Washington team we had. That team attacked offensively.
They did.
They haven't attacked offensively. Even through the Drake Gruden era, there were some times they got hot, but they never were attacking.
Agreed.
And that's what's been lacking from Scott Turner. We don't attack anything. We don't attack your corners. We don't attack your safeties. We don't attack your ends. We just put out plays to see what, okay, that kind of works. All right, that didn't work. There's no coordinated attacks. We're too reactionary. And I think that's the downfall of Scott Turner.
You know the problem, like my problem, you mentioned attack, but my problem with him more than anything is because I was on the show and someone asked me, like, do I think he can design a play? I think he can design a play. Like, I really do think that people are open. So if you're going to use that argument about designing a play, yeah. But I think a lot of offensive coordinators in the NFL can design good plays. That's not really an issue with me about being an OC. Like, it's about setting people up. You know what I mean? It's how you script your plays more than anything. Like obviously, you can copy everything that Kyle Shanahan does. You can copy it, right? You can copy it. But that's not what makes Kyle Shanahan great, though. You know what I mean? Like, what makes him great is how he sets you up. So it's scripted. It's like, okay, I just ran this play out of the same formation. Now I know you're expecting it. I'm going to catch you at the right time. And I'm going to get you. You know, so now you're going to think it's a run on the same action. I'm going to catch you off this. You see Kittle open on plays like that all the time. So it's the things that he makes it easier for that, you know, that rookie quarterback in Purdy that everybody likes, that if he was on a different team, he'd be trashed. But they love him. But it is because he's with Kyle. That's what happens. But when you look at Scott Turner, that's not the situation. So because you'll watch a game and he's calling the game and you're like, well, why did you call this? Why are you doing this? You know what I mean? Like, I'm pro run. Don't get twisted. Like, I am pro run when it comes to Scott Turner because I don't trust Scott Turner. So I am pro run when it comes to Scott Turner. But I was sitting there watching, and I'm talking a little bit about last week's game. I was sitting there watching that game. I was like, you know what? Because Washington was up. I was like, this is a good time where you can go play action on this play, and you can go deep on a play action play. They're stacking the box. You've already said that you can run the ball right now. They think you're going to run the ball. This is a good play. Like, you can do it here. But then there's a simple dive play right up the middle. And I'm like, all right, well, like, what are you doing here? Like, you know what I mean? And then people come who listen to the show like, well, you cry about them you want them to run the football like 40 times. I'm like, yeah, but I understand that there are opportunities to attack. For instance, prime example. I mean, he's my GOAT. He's the one I love the most, is Joe Gibbs. I reference Joe Gibbs 2.0 for people because I don't go for the easy one. I go for the hard. Like, I'll go for 2.0, the one that people say that's a failure, but he took the team to playoffs 2 out of 4 years. But it's okay. Right. But it's okay. But that Joe Gibbs ran the ball like crazy. But again, because he may not be as up to date as other OCs, you know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of what they call, like, the new plays or whatnot. But he understands script. He understands script. So he knows, all right, you can't take my run play, dive or gut. You can't take that. You can't handle it. You can't handle my counter trade. I'm gonna hit you with this play action right now, and it's gonna mess your whole world up right now. You know what I mean? So it's just like how you script plays. And to me, Scott Turner just doesn't have that. He don't have that. Like, he just doesn't. He's clueless when it comes to scripting plays.
And you're right, because drawing on a whiteboard is easy.
Yes.
And diagramming plays are easy. And there are times they're open. And I've been critical of that because our quarterback position, for the most part, hasn't hit it. Yeah. The fan favorite Taylor Heinicke has missed so many throws. Yeah. It did handcuff what Turner can run. Yeah. It's the sequence of plays of how you're setting up. You gave a great example of Kyle Shanahan, I'm sorry. So go back to the 49ers game. The first initial half, the defense had their number. They knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. But second half, same action. Now they do one thing different, and you see Kittle by himself, or you see Ayuk by himself. And it's not just plays, because everyone has plays. I can diagram 20 plays right now.
Yeah, there you go.
It's how you sequence it in a game. So the most frustrating play of last week was the 4th and 1. And you call a toss to your third string running back, who is the slowest running back, to the side of the Browns' best player, Myles Garrett, who's going to be slanting in that gap. It's confounding. And so that's what gets you frustrated. Did Wentz play bad? Of course he did. But did you help him play good? No. And it's sequences like that. Like, okay, this is 4th and 1. You finally did it at the goal line. He's 6'5". Fall forward. It's not pretty.
It's the same thing.
It's
the same thing. Or
so it's a sequence of plays, and Scott Turner just doesn't have that gene. And we talk about all this new innovative offense. Kyle Shanahan modified the West Coast offense, which his dad got, which Joe Gibbs did, which got it from Eric Coryell, who went to Steve Walsh. Or Bill Walsh. It's the same sequence.
It's the same thing.
It's different formations. So when I grew up, it was 12 personnel, it was 2 tight ends, or it was then with a fullback. It's the same concept now that we go to an H-back and a slot. And now you just have the jet sweep motion, which is nothing but a variation of the wing T, which is the 1920s. So there's nothing new under the wheel. It's just how you disguise it. Because defenses know what's coming. They're NFL players. They're all pros. But it's about that 1 second of, oh, crap, is it this? Now you're even with that person. You're beating them. Now you're athlete on athlete. And the Commanders have athletes. And for all the complaining and whining about Samuels last year, look at what a healthy Samuels did. And I still
wasn't utilized.
Underutilized.
Yeah, still wasn't
the second half of the season.
Look, I was one of them. I keep it 100. Like I was one of them. I mean, because I'm a Michigan fan, I just hate on Ohio State players. But I was one of them. You know what I mean? But I was like, yo, this dude work. This dude, he it. Like he it. It's just. It's like I guess that's the frustrating part. Because to your point, Felix, I know we like to lay on this offensive line sword for like people want to blame, he had a bad offensive line, but man, like that's a lot of talent, man. Like that's a lot of talent to barely score 20 points. And that's what bothers me about even the Heineke thing. Like, you know, and I'll follow the story. Like maybe they should have started Heineke, I guess. Like I'll say that because I'll say maybe that's the argument you can go to. But this is what I will say for those people, though. This is what I will say to those people. Which was horrible. It was trash, right? But, and Felix, you can remind me and say if I'm wrong, when you can just correct me. They scored 24, right? The Browns scored 24 points, right?
Yes.
Has Heineke even scored 20-something points without a defensive touchdown? Like that close to 24 without a defensive touchdown?
I think the Eagles game.
Maybe. That was it. That's
the only outlier.
The only one?
Because so, you're talking 20s.
Yeah.
21.
They had 24. They had 24 without a turnover.
I think the defense 24 in the Houston game, but it was a pick six in that game.
Yeah, pick six. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So
the Falcons game was 20.
Yeah. So just keep
Giants
going.
game was 20 and it was 12 and
17s. You barely had like
the Vikings game may have been 21.
21. So my thing is like my argument is that like they scored 24. Heineke ain't scoring like he's rarely scoring 24 without help. Rarely. And the defense didn't create any turnovers or anything. I'm not knocking. I'm just telling you what it is. Like that's what it is. And if you're saying, and then also you added that Heineke's gonna play a clean game, that hasn't been the case either. So my thing is like they're losing that game regardless. Let me be honest, they're losing that game regardless because the defense because they're missing Cam Curl, whatever. So it is what it is. Yes, if you want the argument for me to say like, oh, could they have? Yeah, all right. Which was so bad. Yes, you're probably better off playing Heineke. I'll give you that. Probably so. But if you're looking for a different, you try to tell me it's going to be a different result, I'm not going to rock with that because the defense is what rocks this team, and they gave up 24, and they gave up explosive plays thoroughly. So the quarterback play within that situation, it doesn't change anything. I know I had to go back because I got.
I know, and I've said this because I was one of the people who advocated going back to Wentz, but I said do it after the bye.
Yeah, exactly.
You give the Giants a different look.
Yeah, I agree.
he played bad in the first game, got away with it, and you squeezed out a tie. He played worse on Sunday night with the pressure.
Yes.
So and then you went to 49ers, which was going to not be a winnable game.
Everybody knew that. Like I knew that. Everybody knew that. Everybody knew that.
Out and stuff. Yeah. But now you whatever legs he had, you clip from him when you put Wentz in. Yeah. And now you put Wentz in. Now it's you got to win. And I think the players knew that they had to win. I don't know if Rivera did, but the players were like, we got to win.
Of course they did. They knew.
Now you put the pressure right back on the guy that you didn't want to put the pressure on.
Good point.
So it just spiraled around. So that whole thing they handled bad. They handled that whole thing bad. And I've told people, and I'm not a big Heineke fan. He was doing what he was doing in spite of what the defense did. The defense was the motivating factor for that run. We ball control, defense.
That's all it is.
The defense was holding people to 12 points. They gave up 13 points to the Giants on that Sunday night.
Yeah.
13 points.
Because you had to turn, exactly. I totally agree.
That's 13 points.
I agree.
You can't ask your defense to do any more than that. If I tell you Sunday the Cowboys are only going to score 13 points, you would like your chances.
You would like your chances, of course. That's what I'm saying. That's my thing. They gave up 24 against Cleveland, so that's what happened. Yeah. It's not a knock. It's not a knock. It's just that 24 in today's NFL is that like a blowout? No, but I'm saying like with this offense, it is. So all I'm saying in general, so it goes to the offensive coordinator and what he schemes up. So I'm just saying like
it's all connected. And
it's all connected, man. It's all connected.
And I think we love villains to put it on somebody.
Yeah.
Well, it would go back. It was RG3's fault. Well, it was Jay Gruden's fault. Well, it was Kirk Cousins' fault. It usually was Kirk Cousins' fault. It was Haskins' fault. It was Smith's fault. It was, it's everyone's person, and we don't look at the right thing. And you've been on it for a while about Scott Turner. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I saw plays.
Yeah,
but now when you have the weapons, can you call a game? That's two different things. Yeah. And we see this in this league now. Let's go back to Nathaniel Hackett with the Broncos.
Oh my God, he's horrible.
He can diagram plays, but he couldn't coach that team.
Exactly. That's who Scott Turner is to me. So I agree with you. They got weapons over there too.
You still weren't getting Jerry Jeudy open. Jerry Jeudy, that's a top 10 receiver. Yeah. And you couldn't get him generally open. So that scheme, that's not talent.
That's not.
And so Russ is going to struggle, and it's snowball because you can't sequence in the game. So Scott Turner, and we came out the first couple drives in Jacksonville, beginning of the year, bam, bam, bam. It's like, all right, now we can open it up. And we saw after that Lions game when we scored 33, it just went lower lower and lower.
They get tape. They get tape. They get tape. They know your tendencies. That's what it is.
Yeah, he has very bad tells.
Yeah.
And if you have a bad tell, you better have a very good team.
Yeah,
and you have a solid team, but not a very good team.
Yes. It's just like you gotta coach with attitude. Like that's one thing I loved about Coach Gibbs. I'm always referencing him. I just love that dude. Like you can know the play, just ain't gonna stop it.
I mean, there was a swagger, and I think
there was swagger. Yeah, agreed.
I've mentioned this. And teams take the personality of their coach, and Coach Rivera is a good guy, been through a lot, and honestly, I don't think very few people could have got the franchise through 2020 and 2021.
Yeah,
the whole COVID thing and the owner and the name and this allegation, this death, this all that he was right for the ship. Yeah. But there comes a point where now we got to hand off to the person who's going to go to the next step, and it's got to be some motivating factor because if we look up north to the Giants, and I was at both Giants games. The difference was the energy that they possessed from the
easily because not the talent. It's not the talent.
If you go roster spot for roster spot, Washington's winning.
It's not even close.
They're winning. But if you're throwing coach and motivation, that means a lot. That means a lot. And even when you see the tragedy on Monday night, you see the coaches, those two coaches had the vibes of their team, and their teams follow them. We're not doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. Let's go, coach. And Coach Rivera does great, but if you notice every game, every other team punches us first.
Yes, it's true. Every team punches. That's my problem. It's crazy that you say that because that's been my issue with this team throughout this whole regime, to be honest with you, is that like I want my team, and I'm just going to use a bully mentality tactic. I want to take your lunch money. Like I want to take your lunch money. Like I'm trying to take food off your plate. Like that's what I want to do. Like you are a coach. That's what you want to do. That's what you should do. But I feel like at times on both sides of the football, as we keep it a buck, you're passive. You're waiting for somebody to take your lunch money before you respond. It's like you're waiting. Like you know what? I'm let this person hit me first, and then I'm gonna respond. You know what I'm saying? And it's like in football, nah, You got to punch first. You got to snatch that person's plate first. You got to take their lunch money so you can take their heart so they know you here. And that's like they don't do that. Even as good as like real talk, the defense has changed up and they play better. But they ain't trying to take your lunch money often enough for me. You know what I mean? Like they play at times bend but don't break. Like when you play certain people, when you play against Tom Brady, I understand you want to kind of like play a certain coverage. I understand. I get it. Like I understand. But when you play against Daniel Jones, you gotta take his lunch money.
Right.
There's levels to this, bro. You gotta take his lunch money. I love Deshaun Watson. I wanted him here. I won't lie to you. I'm that person. I said it. You know what I mean? But he hasn't been playing the best football. I'm trying to take his lunch money.
And I think we were too nice with him. And even though he made some great plays,
no, he did though.
He got out of 4 or 5.
I was some of the tackles I was mad at because I felt like if you focus like Obata, like nah.
Yeah, that Obata one was beyond.
I don't know what you. I don't know what that was. That's not football. Like you weren't thinking.
Like my whole thing is you gotta be aggressive. Like so, we talk about punching that, and you're gonna be mad at me.
Go ahead, bro.
ECU punched Michigan in the mouth.
They did though. No, it's facts.
Michigan responded, and it was a great game.
No, they got punched. That's what got them. That's what got them.
Punched them in the mouth.
That's what got them. That's what that pick six everything. They got them.
Okay.
Definitely.
The 49ers punched us in the mouth. Yeah. If you notice, there's been a dominant player that's taken over games. Aiden Hutchinson did against the Lions. Yeah. Bosa did it. Derek to it a little bit this right.
Oh, the Giants. Old boy for the Giants.
Thibodeau had 1 sack all season to the Commanders. Now he has like 9 or 10 because he got his against us.
Yes, it started with us.
Like 1 sack.
Yes, it started with us.
And then all of a sudden, boom! Now he's hot. Like he's on fire. But now you got to scheme for him.
Yes.
Like, Allen is good. Payne always gets there, but it's like no one's dominating. No one's unblockable. Yes. No one's unstoppable.
Throughout the game. Like are you talking about like throughout consistently.
And I love Terry. Terry doesn't dominate games sometimes. I think his best game is the Philly game. He dominated.
Yeah. He dominated Philly game. That's his best game. I agree.
He dominated Slay.
Yeah.
And so we don't do that enough. Like we have a tight end core that's for receivers that we don't throw the ball to. So I mean, this little stuff. I'm sorry, I had to get that out because I'm tired of seeing Cole Turner as a blocking tight end when he's not a blocking tight end.
It's not.
We don't throw the ball to him.
I don't like. They need to throw the ball to him just to justify it. I agree with that. I have a lot of issues with the tight end.
All camp, you ran this. This is all off season. When I'm
I know they kept gassing up the tight ends. I know.
I'm there. I'm looking at him like this. You're flexing them out. He's running slants. He's running fade. He's doing all this stuff. And then you see Rodgers. And you see all these guys. You're like, okay, we got thing. And we're like, yeah, Wentz loves the tight ends. So week 1, where the hell's the tight ends?
Yeah.
He had that.
You think that the Amari Rodgers injury hurt?
I mean, he was the last one by default.
I know, right?
Rushed back. I'm going to be honest. Logan rushed back. He wasn't fully healthy to begin with.
That's what I'm saying. I knew that already. I knew that was going to happen already.
Bates got hurt. Yeah. Rodgers was okay, and then Rodgers got hurt.
Yeah.
So now you had a whole injured core. So that's a whole other story. But I'm just saying the fact that Kittle dominated that game when we played them. So we have good players and we have a solid team, which is fine, but then we're gonna have to dominate. And domination comes from 2 things. 1, superior athletes, and we have a bunch of superior athletes. Yeah. 2 comes from scheme. 2 comes from scheme. Put them in the position to succeed.
I agree, man.
I agree. And I go back to your boy Aiden Hutchinson. The way the Lions schemed him that game was a master class.
They blitzed him open.
It wasn't okay. You line up on the left and you beat this guy. Beat him all game. No.
I call it Alden Smith. They Alden Smith them.
Yeah.
Like how San Francisco scheme up for Alden Smith to get pressure. It wasn't that Alden Smith had like he wasn't bad, but he didn't have the best moves in terms of pass rushing skill. But they made sure they got him 1-on-1 and he could use his speed and whatever. They schemed him open.
Scheme, and we don't do that enough.
Yeah.
And so when on Sunday, we're going to see Dan Quinn scheme for his guys.
Oh yeah.
They're going to scheme for their guys. And so the reason why Diggs looks like an all-pro, because he schemed to be.
Yeah.
He schemed to be. Yeah. He's rarely one-on-one in the island. He's rarely.
I know. You're right.
It's scheme. So we got to put all of that together. And the Cowboys have it right now. Yeah. The Giants have it right now. The Eagles sort of have it, but I think the Eagles will get it back with
once Sailing gets back, they'll have it. They'll get it back.
And you see all these teams, and it's like we were right there. We were right there. There.
I'm more annoyed at the Giants thing because I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, Mo, who's guest on the show, who's one of the co-hosts, who's a Giants fan. There's no excuse.
And I was there, and I said, I was like, this is gonna backfire. And they're like, well, it's okay. And I'm like, it is technically okay, but it's not great mentality.
It's not. I was good because I thought we were gonna. You know what? That game, I went left to right with that game because I guess I was okay with it. Stupid. I was okay with it because I thought Graham Gano was gonna make that kick. Like because he don't. I was like 58. Oh man, Graham gonna make this. Graham got a leg. He accurate. Graham barely missed.
Miss against us.
But he barely missed. But he barely missed. Like I got my fantasy. That dude barely missed. Like real talk. Graham barely missed. And I'm like, oh man, we screwed. So when he missed it, I was like, oh okay, all right. That's what I was like. I was a tie. But I was mad at the drive before that, though. Like,
with the game, you should have had the game. When you got
because that drive before, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Scott Turner got cute.
That's what I'm talking about. The dude is an idiot. Like, he's an idiot. Like, he's but you know what? I can't keep talking about him because I'm like, this show will go forever. Like, there's more important things, man. Like, we got the new quarterback, North Carolina, man. He may play. So it looks like Coach Rivera will start the rookie quarterback, Sam Howell. At first he was like he was going to start Taylor Heineke. I was like, why? What are you playing for? You're playing for 8? Like, you're trying to win 8 games? That's what you care about? Like, I was like, okay, you're just on a whole different level, bro. So do you agree? I guess I could tell you. Do you agree with this decision? And also for Heineke to play, for how to play over Heineke against the Cowboys. And also, give me a prediction. What do you think his stat line is going to be in this game against the Cowboys?
I was in the camp of not playing him. And the reason is it's not him.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of him. He'll be okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't want him in this situation, in this mess of a quarterback line, blah, blah, blah that's going on.
They're playing Chris Paul too.
And that's gonna work. That worries me more. Because
at guard, you don't like that guard?
I don't think he hasn't dressed for a reason, people. And I'm being straight up.
Okay.
He hasn't dressed for a reason. Okay. So I don't like that for him. But it makes the most sense. Wentz can never go back out on that field.
No
ever. So you put Heineke out there, but what do you gain from it? Because there's nothing to gain from that. So how was the right move? So I mean, I expect him. He's gonna have some mistakes. He's gonna be sacked a few times. I think he gives up an interception or maybe one, and then he throws for a touchdown. I'm gonna go somewhere in the 150 range. Probably a touchdown and interception.
That's Heineke play.
Only because everybody's not going to be full throttle for us.
Yeah,
and he's not going to get the full experience of everybody like full out. They're going to take care of Robinson. Robinson's nicked up. Like he's not going to get like everyone at their peak.
Got you.
So I say that probably around 150, 175, a touchdown, interception, a couple of sacks, but he's going to make a couple plays with his legs because he can. But he's going to make some rookie mistakes, which is fine. The Dallas Cowboys are a top 5 defense, so I expect him to make a mistake or two. But it's nothing that's going to be like, oh my God. But I don't want people to overreact if he does throw an interception too. Like it's almost it's a freebie game. So don't.
Oh, it's a freebie. It's a freebie.
If he goes out there and throws for 3 touchdowns, he
better not. But let me keep this.
I want to let you know if he does.
Better not score 3 touchdowns. I'm telling you, it's a bad look if he throw 3 touchdowns.
The better he plays, the worse it looks to Rivera.
Yes, it does.
And honestly, if we were in more stable ownership,
he'd be gone.
Came soon.
Yeah, he'll be gone.
Rivera would have been gone this week.
Yes, I agree.
Next week, it would have been
this week.
Del Rio, you're the interim.
Yep.
This is going to happen if the owner was going to be here next year.
No, I agree. No, I agree. No, I've said this before. I feel like, to your point, like I think I'm like this is my side with Howell, and I know people like I feel like I gauge players differently in preseason than other people. Like I don't get fixated on like the threes or whatever. I like to see how comfortable you are as a quarterback, and like, are you accurate for me? Are you accurate? Do you play hard? Are you? You know what I'm saying, like if I look at a player in preseason and what they're dealing with, that's just how I roll when it comes to preseason play. And I like everything I like about Howell. And then I hear reports, and you've been there, Felix, like you were there in camp. Like I heard reports that there were times that Howell is better than both of the other quarterbacks at times. Some people reported that. Not gonna say everybody. Some people reported that. So you might have a different opinion, right? You may have. I wasn't there. But some people. I mean, what's your?
There were days where he looked really good. There were days he looked out. There were days he looked like a flat out.
Of course, like a rookie. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you could tell that he had the biggest learning gap, but you also could see he had the biggest upside. And I think, you made the investment, so Wentz was always going to be the guy coming out of camp, and Heineke you could always throw in a pinch.
Yeah,
but he has a very lively arm. I mean, you would watch, and Wentz has a strong arm, so see Heineke's float, and then you would see us.
Yeah, his zips though. It's a different look. It's
a different torque.
Yeah.
You could tell like when the receivers were going through and they would run a route and catch a ball from the other guys, and then they would catch a ball from him. It was kind of
it's there suddenly. It's like it's a different look. You know what I mean?
So he possessed some skills, but he would don't throw across your body, get out of bounds, get rid of it, and so he was fine, but you could tell at the time he was the third of the three quarterbacks.
Okay.
But there were times where he looked good. And I mean, he's an NFL player. He has NFL talent. So there's times he should look good. So, it was, half a dozen here, 6 in the other hand,
Yeah. No, and it's cool. I respect your opinion, what you see. But like what I saw like in preseason, I was like, you know what? Like this ain't any worse than what I'm seeing now. Like for real. Like this, like what he can do ain't like to put it this way, these dudes ain't that much better than him. If they are better than him, they're not that much better than him at this particular point in time.
I think after 16 games, that's very valid. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like
it's the downfall of the 2022 Commanders will be the impotency of the offense to put points up.
Yeah,
you had above par special teams play. You had above par defense.
Not return though, right? Not return, right?
No.
Okay.
So Gibson on kick return.
No, not Gibson. I'm sorry. I mean the punt thing, the punt guy. That's what I call it.
Your punt team was great. Your kickoff team was great.
Yes.
Your punt coverage was awesome.
Yeah.
Like
punter was good.
That's why he was routinely gonna do his job. Yeah. Slide make the kicks.
Was good. Slide made some big kicks. Yeah.
The Eagles, that 50-some yard. I mean,
that won the game. That won the game. Yeah.
So that side was good. The defense played well enough to win you 10, 11 games.
Yes, agreed. Everything that you said.
Maybe 12. Honestly, I could get.
No, real talk. I'm gonna be real with you. This defense was good enough to be real with you. The offense was an average offense. This defense was good enough to win you a Super Bowl. Like, I mean, I'm serious. To get you to a Super Bowl. I'm serious. I'm not even joking.
They're like I said, they're not going to have the flash of the Cowboys, but they would have been solid. They would have been completely solid. They weren't going to get beat by the big play. Like
when healthy.
They weren't going to get beat by the big play. And honestly, Sunday changed when Allen went out.
Yeah.
When Allen went out, they could duo block Payne, and then
they did whatever they wanted to.
Then it was an issue because now you can scheme away from Chase or scheme away from Sweat.
You gotta worry about Chubb and Amari Cooper. It's just a whole different beast.
And then my guy Danny Johnson, who I told you,
he played well, bro. Man, he played well.
There was no need of picking up Wild Goose. Remember, Wild Goose had
I agree with already. So I don't look. No, like the Wild Goose thing was stupid. That's the overthinking stuff, man.
And what was that? The Tennessee game where he had the 2 PIs and they got we lose.
Yeah, but you continue to play him. You put him out there. Like it's just stupid.
Johnson was a better player, but as soon as
and then my thing is that you just like you said, you've seen this in practice. Like I'm sure you've seen it in practice. Like you got receivers that will embarrass. Like you see it in practice. There's no way that dude, you knew that dude was. There's no way you should have put that dude on the field. Like I'm gonna be real with you. There's no way you should put that dude. He's a special teamer. He's not a starting cornerback in the NFL at all. Nickel or whatever you want to put it. He's not that guy.
He's not that guy. He shouldn't have been out there. So not at all. Little stuff like that. But that defense easily wins you 11, 12 games. But now it falls back on the impetency of the offense. And that comes from 3 factors: starting with the offensive coordinator, then the quarterback position, then your line. Those are the 3 things that let you down.
Yeah.
It wasn't your receivers. It was the coordinator, lack of game, not game planning, but game execution.
Yeah.
We do the planning part. It was the calling of plays during
scripting plays, man. It's just horrible.
Second was the impetency of the quarterback position.
Obviously,
they struggled. Both of them. And then your line, you had 2 people on that line who should not be starting in the NFL at this moment. That started week 1 in Norvell and Turner.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why I'm not even gonna I know exactly what you're talking about.
Neither of them should be starting in the league at this point.
None of them. But again, that's this regime's playing that little favoritism game that has no need to. Those dudes had no need to be starting in the NFL. Like they should be depth guys. They should be backups. There's no, even when they were signed, people were questioning, are they starters or backups? No one knew that. No one thought they were going to start. They were like, "Oh, this is good for depth." That's what people said. It was for depth, and they made them starters. I mean, it's a wild regime. But in terms of quarterback, I'm happy for this. I think that this change is needed. It gives me a reason why to watch the game. I think you're a Commanders fan. Like there was no reason to watch. I know it's the Cowboys. I know it sounds good.
Honestly,
a lot of fans weren't going to watch it because
I didn't have to be there.
Yeah, see, look.
I swear. If I didn't have to really be there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And as a fan, it hurts because at the end of the day, this is Cowboy Week.
It's Cowboy Week.
At the end of the day, you
can damage the season for them. Like it is like there is.
You can hurt them before they go.
Yeah, like this, I agree.
You can take their little party and and punch them in the mouth and say good luck. Yeah. And so that's why I tweeted that out on Monday and you retweeted it. Yeah. That this team threw away a chance to be a 4th place team in the playoffs. So you could have been in the playoffs, won a game or 2 in the playoffs, and still played a 4th team schedule next year.
Yes.
That's what you threw away for a team now that, and the Packers would probably make the playoffs, that you dominated.
Oh, the
Packers. That was one of your more comfortable wins.
Yeah, I think Seattle probably get that spot though. But yeah, because they got a sorry team they're playing against. They got sorry, the Rams. They got the Rams.
I don't Lambeau in the regular season in January. I'm going with Favre. I mean, not Favre with.
No, I mean saying like they won't get in. The West ain't got the last spot right now. Seattle got the last spot.
Seattle does, but Green Bay would get the tiebreaker if they both win. Green Bay's in a win. If they both win, Green Bay gets it. Seattle needs Detroit to win because they beat Detroit head to head.
Yeah. Oh, is that how it works? Oh, I didn't know how it works. Okay.
Seattle's sitting in it. If the Packers win,
right then they will because they can beat Detroit. Oh yeah. So Detroit needs they need 2 things. So Detroit needs 2 things.
Yeah, Detroit needs to win and Seattle to lose.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay.
Packers need actually, they could go into that game. Detroit could go into that game with if Seattle wins, which they should be favored over the Rams.
They should be a favorite over the Rams.
Yeah. And they already won, so Detroit would have nothing to play for.
But don't they play them at the same time? They don't. They do. They play them at the same time, so they won't.
No, they're the Sunday night game. The Packers are the Sunday night game.
Ooh,
Packers Lions are Sunday night. The Seahawks would be playing at 4:25, like the Commanders and Cowboys.
Got you.
it that kind of the NFL kind of blew the ban on that. Those two should have played at the same time.
At the same time, yeah, they messed that one up.
Yeah, they kind of messed up because the Lions could come in by kickoff and already know they're out.
They're out and they ain't gonna want to play. Well, I mean, yeah, they probably won't. I wouldn't want to.
I mean, Dan Campbell's a different type of motivating coach.
No, I know. You know what? Yeah, you're right. He different. He different.
If we're not going, we're gonna take Aaron Rodgers with us.
Yeah,
that's a motivating factor.
Yeah,
and
he
talk about coaches and motivation. Dan Campbell's different, but hey, you see the boys playing for Dan Campbell.
Yeah, you're right. He different. No, he definitely different. But yeah, back to but yeah, for Washington, I feel like this like all right. This is I'm very curious. Do you think this is going? So do you think this crowd will be a pro Cowboys crowd? Because that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I was in the press box saying 85-15.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
Now, if the Packers had lost and the Commanders still had a shot.
Yeah, that's different. That's different. I
think it would be. I think it would be 50-50.
What do you think if they had a shot, it'd be 50-50? So I think if they had a shot.
Because Cowboys are still seeing a coronation. And they're like, we can get this division. And you know how their fans are.
Got you, yeah. Okay, so I got you.
Now it's going to be probably 85-15. There's going to be your diehards that are anti-Cowboy to the end. And then they're the ones who just want to see the end of the regime because a lot of people think that's going to be the last Daniel Snyder game. Yeah. So they're going to be there for that. But that's going to be
it'll be there because of Snyder, the last Snyder game?
The last Snyder game. So, Cowboy fans are going to be there in droves because they're expecting to win. That would make nothing would make them happier than winning. Yeah. So I expect a big Cowboy crowd.
That'd be insane. Hey, we had a poll on our Twitter handle. It says, do you agree with Coach Rivera's decision to start Howell over Heineke's? 82% says yes. 18% says no. Yeah. I think it's about the fans. I think the fans want to see what he has to offer. I think it's always the unknown. That's the thing. It's the unknown. I mean, I wanted to see this dude play. I actually, truth be told, because I'm all about, like, if your team isn't going to at the time before when Heineke was going to be the starter or whatever, I was so like disinterested in the squad. I was like, why not play him? We're not going to really accomplish anything. Why not play him? You know what I mean? Why not play Howell? Like, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's like you play Howell. Okay, you get a bad pick, and if he's not good, you get another quarterback. But though I don't like this quarterback draft, so I guess that's the whole thing. I'm not a big fan of this draft. But I am all for playing Howell next year, though. Like, I'm all for if he's bad. If I'm sorry, I'm gonna be sorry for Caleb Williams. Like, I'm all for being bad for Caleb Williams. I think it gets to a point now where, like, this quarterback thing is such a big issue. These are the things you have to change. And I do. If you really wanted to change, I agree with you, Felix. If you really wanted to change, if you're trying to win, you fire Scott Turner. Like, this is if you really wanted to win, you fire Scott Turner. Then I'm inclined to be our even though I don't want. I'm cool. I don't want to, because I do understand that if you don't sign a marquee quarterback, you're more capable to re-sign Sweat or Payne. I mean, you got to try to do Payne now, but you're able to sign Sweat, right? Say you sign Payne, now you're able to sign Sweat if you get if you start the rookie quarterback or you go with a cheaper quarterback. But if you're really, really trying to win, like really trying to win, you can. If you really want me to jump on board with you getting a quarterback, if you want for you getting a quarterback in the free agency, like a Derek Carr, right? If you want me to jump on board with that, you got to give me a stud offensive line. I mean, a stud offensive coordinator. He's got to be a stud. Like, he's got to be like, it has to be like a Frank Wright. Like, it has to be like a Frank Wright. Then I'm like, all right, I'm cool with you getting Derek Carr. Because I know Frank Wright can make Derek Carr work. I'm not saying he's going to be like Joe Montana or be Tom Brady, but he'll make Derek Carr work. Like, I know he'll make Derek Carr efficient with that defense. And I got Sweat for like 1 year, right? He's for 1 year. I'm okay with that. Like, now I think that we can not just be a good playoff team. I think we can make a huge jump, like a huge jump. But you can't tell me you're bringing Derek Carr in and just have Scott Turner. Then I'm like, no, that's a waste of money. Like, that's not going to work because he's not going to work. You know what I mean? So, and if you want to go with Sam Howell, I'm cool with it because now I know Like I got Sam Howell, and I'm cool. And actually, truth be told, I'm cool with Sam Howell with the Frank Wright. You know what I'm saying? A mind like that, because I know that Frank Wright can work with young quarterbacks. He's done in the past, so I'm cool with that. But the whole thing for me, the main thing for even and if I'm for Sam Howell, if I'm Sam Howell, I'm hoping that you bring in a dude who can teach me right. You know what I'm saying? Who can help me become great, because there's a reason why Kyle Shanahan and Purdy is the reason why Purdy look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason for that. You need a guy like that to make this guy look good to a point where he gets him to a certain level, and then he could take his game to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. Like, they gotta answer that.
I tweeted this after the game. I was like, at minimum, Turner has to go.
Yes,
minimum. And honestly, it should be Rivera and the whole staff. But
I agree.
If Rivera's going to stay, which I believe he will, just because how the timing of the owners, and it's not going to be till March, and
you got to worry about the draft. There's no way you go.
Like
there's no way.
And honestly, I don't want him drafting a quarterback. Now he's found some other pieces. Like, you got to give him credit for, like, he found a Cameron Curl in the 7th round.
Yeah, Cameron he got Defoe.
And remember, he found Defoe. Remember, I said before the season, Cameron Curl was the most important player on the defense. I didn't say
I agree. No,
he's the most important. And you see when he's not there how bad the defense looks.
No, he is. It's a fact. It's a fact.
My thinking, this would be the perfect way for me. If you don't resign Payne, you franchise him.
Yes.
He gets sweat. C, you go with Howell, and you draft line, and cornerback.
Agreed.
You do that. And then you give Howell a year with a younger coordinator. It's more innovative.
Yeah.
You find somebody out the Shanahan
under a good tree. Yes.
Under the Nick Sirianni, any of those type of offenses, like some of the stuff they're running down in Miami and all that stuff, because you have comparable receivers to what Miami has with Tyreek and Waddle. You have comparable type. That's the type of offense you would want to run.
Yes.
So I would do that. That would be me. And draft that cornerback and line. And cornerback and offensive line. That would be my focus. And let Howell be that guy. And give him a full year to run.
Yeah.
And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Yes.
And you would still have your defensive line solidified.
Yep.
Which is still the core of your team.
Yep.
You have your receiving core is pretty much locked in. You still have Jahan on a rookie deal. You still have you have Terry locked in. Samuels, I think, will have one more year, but
you can play with his contract, and then you get the option.
So that's how I would approach 2023. That would be my minimum. Honestly, I would clean shop, not because they're not good people. It's another voice is needed, and the only person on this staff that I would want to keep is Chris Harris, and that's the DB's coach. And if you ever get to see the team practice, he's the energy.
What about the D-line coach? I mean, they changed up.
He works out well. I wouldn't put him over
D-line coach, right? Yeah.
But like I would definitely keep him. But Chris Harris, I would give him the defense. I would give him a team because
they play for him, right?
You see what they play so hard for him. And I've watched him develop. He's the reason Curl's the way he is. He's the reason Defoe's the way he is. He was the reason Landon was so successful last year in that quote unquote Buffalo nickel. It was Chris Harris. And that's the energy in that locker room. And it needs to come from the head guy. Like, so that would be, if that's probably not going to happen. So Coach Rivera will be back. But at minimum, you've got to find an offensive coordinator. And I would rather rock with Howell on that rookie deal and build around it versus going to get a Carr or a Jimmy G who's coming off an injury or anything like that.
I don't even entertain. I know people get so fixated in Jimmy G.
I'm not a Jimmy G guy, but
I don't get why. I'm just again, it's hard for me to judge. Again, you gotta look at who your offensive coordinator is. I don't know why people keep doing this. Like every year, like we want this quarterback, but did you gotta understand like who your coordinator is? Look, again, like Carson Wentz was bad, was horrible this year, right? It was horrible, wasn't good at all. But last year with Frank Wright, the dude you saw a stat line, it wasn't close to this. He wasn't even close to this. You could say you didn't want him because of the last game in Jackson. That's fine. I'm with it, but don't. He wasn't like. Think about it. One coordinator had him, and really, the Colts had a good offensive line, so I'll give him that. But on skill, other than Taylor, the wide receivers weren't special. He has 3 receivers that are easily good skill that could help him with pass, could help him put up major stats as a passer, for real talk. And he couldn't do it here. Like, the common denominator is one dude, bro. The common denominator is your OC. Like,
I've never seen a guy look so ill prepared in a December, January game. And look, and some of that's on the player.
Yeah.
But some of that's on the coach.
Yes.
Like, got to know what it's going to do. You've got to put him in the right spot to succeed. And they did not do that. They did not do it at the beginning of the year with the 7-step drops and the deep routes that took time on a line that couldn't hold up against, the line of Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And the boy got his head bashed in for 3 weeks.
Yes.
He was gunshot.
You see it already. You saw it.
So by the time he came out, he was gunshot.
Yeah.
And the Browns legit had one person. I don't even think you heard Jadeveon Clowney's name on Sunday. I forgot he was out there.
Now, he had like one play, but that was like the one play. He had one play. He didn't really do that.
Like,
and Myles Garrett was quiet for most of the time too, until he had that one sack.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the denominator. It needs to happen. And we're talking about, well, that's no. The man gets paid millions of dollars. He'll be fine. It's if you're not improving your team as a coach, then what are you doing?
Yeah, and this is the thing, and this is the discussion. And you're right. And I feel like obviously Ron's gonna be back. This is not my thing. Ron's gonna be back. But if I'm Ron, you gotta understand there still is pressure on you, even though you come back. Right
now, well, he knows now that
there's pressure.
New owner. This is what happened in Carolina.
Yeah,
now it's a new owner.
Yeah, it's different.
So he has no attachment to anything.
Yeah.
So whoever they are, I got some theories, but I ain't gonna go there.
Yeah.
Whoever they are, they don't care.
They don't care.
Because they don't come in, they're like, I done spent $5-6 billion.
Yeah.
I got a bad stadium and I got some bad PR I gotta change.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, because they have no attachment to any of that.
Yeah.
So Ron has to know that if you want to keep going, you're gonna have to cut some of that dead weight. Yeah. And that dead weight right now is Scott Turner. Yeah. He's nothing to justify being here.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm Ron, you gotta really look and evaluate your staff. Like, if you want to keep Del Rio, I can't make an argument against that, to be honest with you.
I mean, Del Rio off the field, yes, but
on the field, I can't make an argument about that. Like,
his defense has been top 10.
Yeah, so how am I gonna, like, if you're trying to give me the State of the Union address, if that was Ron, he told me, like, I want to keep Del Rio. I can't be like, and you gave me all the background, the stats. So I'm not gonna be like, how dare you? No, I'm gonna be like, all right, okay, I get it.
And you can say Del Rio each year made a major adjustment, which would improve the defense.
Yes, he did last year too.
Last year, landed out that deep safety. Yeah. Putting them in the linebacker, change the defense.
Yeah.
This year, getting rid of William Jackson, putting Defoe on the field, going to a 3-safety hybrid look.
Yeah.
Now you can hear that, oh my God, how did the sucks? Like, you don't hear that anymore.
You don't know more. He's in the slot playing.
He should have played.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody
was now in the positions they should have played.
Yep.
And so now the defense played well.
Yeah.
And we've said it. They routinely held teams down.
Yeah. So
injuries beat them up. So you can't get on Del Rio.
Nah. So it gets to what you just said prior. Is like, if I'm Ron, I can't look. If I know I'm in a hot seat that following year, and I know that they're gonna be willing to fire me in mid-season if I struggle. Like, this is different. Like, again, I was telling folks, like, and I don't care for Snyder. He just does nothing for me. But I'm like, yo, the reason why Ron is safe is because Snyder, it's a bad PR to fire Ron for Snyder, period. Throughout his since he brought Ron, it's a bad look regardless. You all can complain on how bad Ron is. It won't even matter. Like, because Snyder is worried about fixing images. That's all he's worried about. He ain't worried. He don't want to touch the football field. So it's coach centric. This is all Ron. Like, when it's on the field, like all this is all Ron. Like, so I look at it for what it is. That's all Ron. So Snyder ain't touching this. You know what I mean? So when Snyder sells the team, this is like prolonged it. Because if this prolongs it, right? Because he's not going to fire Ron. He ain't going to touch Ron. And the new owner ain't. If it's in March, the new owner don't got no time to find a new coach because a coach want to get they draft situated everything unless a owner is already in place behind the scenes, like for real, and he's already spoken to a coach and he already has that coach in mind and they're ready to make this play now. That's the only way it works, right? That's the only way it works. But just say that that's not happening, right? Let's just say that's not happening. Ron gonna be back next year. So I said earlier that he can get fired mid-season. If I'm Ron, I'm like, okay, this is go time. This ain't about nepotism. This ain't you being my best friend. This ain't your daddy hyping me, getting me a job when we was in San Diego and he gave me that job and now I owe him and that's why you with me and we roll dogs right now. Nah, that nepotism crap is done. It is done. Mm-hmm. Like I got to make sure that I save my job. So he got to make sure he has the best people with him on that staff. You can't have if you bring back Scott Turner, bro, you ain't serious about winning. I'm sorry. You ain't serious about winning. If you want to bring, if you talk about I want to bring consistency and stability to this team, just because you've been with this regime for 3 years, don't mean it's good for you. That stability that you want.
No, I mean you speak a good point. And Snyder's out the door. Snyder's about to get a check and out the door. So and so he can't. He doesn't even want to be seen. He wasn't even at the game last week.
Yeah, he should. Wow.
And so he wasn't there. So
that's crazy.
It's already checked out. He'll be here this Sunday. He's gonna see his boy Jerry.
Okay, Jerry there. You know, gotta see his guy Jerry.
So he'll see his boy, and that's going to be the last time he'll ever be at FedEx Field.
I agree.
Ron knows that, but if Ron wants to go past next year, if he wants to make it through next year, in 12 months when we're doing this again, and we're talking, and if Ron wants to be the coach, they got to be in the playoffs. And it better not be one of those, we got to win and need help in this and this. You should already be clinched.
Yep, I agree.
If you're not clinched, and I mean, you're sitting like the Giants and above, because the Giants are clinched and or you're sitting here, you're fighting for a division, we're already clinched, trying to fight for seeding. You need to be gone. And and everyone wants to do patience, and there's patience to an extent. But when you see turnarounds like the Giants,
that's what patience is out the window. That's I'm serious.
When you see Jacksonville go from whatever they were to they're playing for a division title on Sunday. When you see the Lions, they're turned around. This is second year of Dan Campbell.
Yes.
When you see, you just see all these teams.
The Jets, even though they're not like the fun, but the Jets are a better team than they were.
I mean, whether the Patriots have a year or two off and they're back.
Like.
And you see even Baltimore, and they're hating Jim Harbaugh and in the whole Lamar saga, they still have 10 wins.
I know. They spoiled, man.
The Steelers done went through heck, and they still.
That's the one. That is the one. That's the one. That is the one. You lost your iconic quarterback. You basically started a rookie quarterback. Let's keep it a buck. Trubisky played like one game, like 2 games. You basically started a rookie quarterback.
And they're playing for the division. I mean, they're playing to make the playoffs this week.
They're about to be over 500 again.
Like you even had Carolina with a coach that got fired halfway through the season, an interim coach, got them all the way to a game with Tampa Bay with Tom Brady to win that game, to win the division.
Yes, man.
So you don't have that excuse anymore.
I agree.
Man, the Eagles aren't sliding back anytime soon.
The Eagles are frustrating too. That's a frustrating one too.
Dallas is not coming back, even though Dakota will help you out. They're still talented and they're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
The Giants have now passed you by virtue of coaching and energy. There's no excuse no more. It's a 5-year plan. You've got to win now. And that's how the NFL works. And if you have a bad year, you turn them right back around and come back the next year.
Look, man. Yeah. The lesson of today's show is that Ron got lucky for the sale. He got real lucky.
Yeah.
He got real lucky for the sale. I'm telling you, he got real lucky. Hey, Felix, man, thanks for being on, homie. How can our listeners catch you on social media, my man?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Blessed Commander. On Twitter, it's missing that E because of Twitter regulations. Maybe Elon Musk will liberate that too, but who knows? You can find me on there. Find me on 1340 AM Fox Sports. All my write-ups are up there. My podcast, Washington Rap, and other places like that. Hop on many podcasts I can. I would love to talk about the team in better circumstances.
Of course, man. Like everybody does.
I always love interacting. I'm always around. I'm always there. If you wanna talk to voices who aren't those mainstream guys who are gonna feed you the same BS, you hit me up. I'm there. I'm seeing the same thing they're quote unquote seeing.
Of course, bro.
For any of the files who don't quite know, I'm there.
Yeah. And also tell them, like, you keep them 100. A lot of them dudes don't. Sorry, just be keeping the buck. A lot of y'all don't. It is what it is. Y'all jump ship like when it's like over. But in the beginning, y'all like it. Don't get me started. I can call out some people. I can call out some people.
Another episode. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, I'm telling you, because I've seen some stuff.
You had to pour a drink on that.
Yeah, I know. I could. I seen this because somebody told my own homie was like, "How come you don't go like that?" I was like, "Dude, I go like that every week." This person was not like this. Just got like this, bro. Like, just got like this. Just watch it. Don't just see a clip and think like these people be going hard. They don't. They do it when it's advantageous to go hard. Put it that way. Put it that way. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything and like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Again, do not forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel as well. Hey man, this has been a great show. Always appreciate the homie Felix, you know what I mean, doing great work. Make sure you check his stuff out on the Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM, Wole, Virginia's website. Got good Washington Commanders content. I still want to say Redskins, but I'm gonna say Commanders though. Anyway,
I'm doing good. I don't think I said Redskins in a while, actually.
Oh, I haven't. I say it every once in a while when I feel like I'm allowed to, like I'm liberated to. So I just say it. I throw it in. I throw it in for shade. That's all. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Wole, Virginia, for ages. Deuces. Hey, Mega, lead us out, big homie.